What's going on, Niner fans? We are live again. I have to redo my live because this afternoon when I got back, this evening when I got back, I went live on my old account, the wrong account, but I shouldn't have been signed into that. I don't know why I signed into that. So we're here live. We're going to talk about Jauan Jennings on the correct account, and let's talk about Jauan Jennings. 49ers gave him a raise, incentives. I'm hyped up still about it. Let's talk about it. So this late, yeah, it's late. Back at 11 because I had to redo my live stream. So we're here. Nobody saw me live earlier on YouTube. We were on Instagram, and I was trying to stream it on multiple platforms. Didn't go as planned. So what's up, everybody? The 49ers, they gave Jauan Jennings a $3 million raise, basically, in incentives. So basically, the story was this talk about the whole story. So after wide receiver Jauan Jennings returned to practice Monday and participated again Wednesday, the San Francisco bolstered his earnings for 2025. So according to his agent, or this is according to Adam Schefter, his agent Drew Rosenhaus told ESPN's Adam Schefter on Wednesday night that the Niners and Jennings have agreed to add $3 million in playtime incentives to his contract this season. Jennings is entering his final season of the 2-year contract he signed last year, and now he can earn up to $10.5 million. He's going to be an unrestricted free agent this season, and he and the Niners didn't come to an agreement on a long-term extension. He basically said, look, long-term, let's nip it in the butt. I want to get this money. Basically, the Niners said, hey, we should pay you a raise for what you did last year. We love that you gave us a little bit of a shot in the arm last year when we needed you desperately. Brandon Ayuk got hurt. Deebo Samuel got hurt, and he stepped up to one wide receiver one. So the Niners said, hey, go earn your money. We'll give you an extra $3 million. In California, he's going to get it all taxed out. But, hey, he still gets $3 million. It's not the $15 to $20 million that he's probably looking for, but $10 million better than the $7 million he was getting. So, hey, a little bit of incentives. And now he's going to be a free agent. He's going to bet on himself and has the potential to go crazy this offseason, right? Earn a lot of money and probably get a nice contract. If he has a season like he did last year, somebody will pay him $15 to $20 million. And I don't think it's going to be the Niners, although they did say that they want to maybe get a long-term resolution, maybe even try to get Colton McKivitz a long-term resolution. They mentioned Colton McKivitz. Kyle Shanahan did today specifically. He says they want to get a long-term resolution with McKivitz and Jennings. I'm sure they want to get a long-term deal with Jennings, but now I think he might price himself out of the Bay next season if he has a good season. So we'll see. Earlier Wednesday, Kyle Shanahan said he didn't think there's totally a resolution with Jennings in terms of his contract, though he reiterated that the team would like to keep Jennings for the 2025 and beyond. It was an indication that at least some contract modification could be coming. So I kind of think Kyle Shanahan hinted towards this the other day, and then boom, we get the news. There's a business side, but it's something that I think both sides would love to get worked out, said Shanahan. He did say that there's business to it. We want to figure it out, and they figured it out. It's the extension incentives on his contract. And, the big thing to me, though, is he missed a lot of training camp. He missed most of training camp because of the calf injury or contract, whatever it was, contractitis, calf contract, whatever you want to call it. I don't know. He missed a lot of time. So will Jennings be ready to go and be that dog we expect from him? He's pretty much wide receiver one. Clay Kubiak in the offseason during OTA says Jauan Jennings is wide receiver one. Him and Pearsall have a lot, to do, between themselves. They're going to be the top two receivers. You got George Kittle, but right now, Demarcus Robinson, he's suspended. Brandon Ayuk, he's not playing because he's injured. Jordan Watkins is dealing with the high ankle sprain. So Jennings and Pearsall are 1 and 2. And honestly, I don't know if he's going to be 100% ready to roll because he's had the calf injury, or so they say, and he's missed a lot of training camp. So that's my only concern is, I'm happy for Jennings. He got a little bit extra bread, and he's ready to roll. We got a little bit better wide receiver corps with him now, but is he going to be 100% ready to roll? I'm a little worried about that. They're happy. They're saying he's looking good. I mean, if you see the videos of him on social media, he looks good, but time will tell. Sunday, we got a big game against the Seahawks, right? So Jesus says $10 million, excellent. Yeah, I think it's fair value, honestly. He's worth it, says Julius. This is what I said when I was on live all week, the last couple of weeks leading up to. I said, if they're going to pay him $3 million, give him 10. I said, give him about $3 million. And go back in some video. I probably said $3 million. I said maybe max 13. That would have been a lot. But I said give him some incentives and make it $10 million. And that's exactly what they did. I like it. Sahaj says, are you excited for AJ Lee return? I'm excited for AJ Lee, but we're not here to talk about AJ Lee. Light it up. We'll see about that on Friday. Media, what's going on? Armando says, who's going to Seattle? Can't wait to go see them beat the Seahawks. I hope we beat the Seahawks. I don't want to start the season with an L to the ugly Seahawks. So definitely, was I on a visit with the Niners? No, I was at Topgolf celebrating a couple of my friends, my daughters. It was late. It was late birthday celebration. We hung out. We had fun. Topgolf, baby. We had a good time. But I was at Topgolf. Literally, the news broke. They were like, I was posting the news as soon as it happened. It was kind of crazy being at Topgolf when crazy news happens. Like my friends got to see me in action. They were like, "This is crazy. You're on top of it." I was like, "Boom!" Posting on all platforms. Da 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 da. So it was fun. That's what we do. But yeah, Jauan Jennings. I'm happy for the guy. I think he earned that extra bread from last season, right? Stepping up to be a wide receiver one with all the injuries last year. So I think definitely deserved for him. I hope he continues to have a great year because it's good for us. It's good for his pocket. If he goes out there and has 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, I mean, he's going to earn at least $15 million. Maybe not from the Niners. So I don't think he'll be back with the Niners if he goes out there and has a big season. I mean, definitely, they want him to be back. They want to give him an extension. They said the same thing about Greenlaw and all these guys. They want him to be back if they could afford it. But $20 million for another wide receiver who's going to be, 29 next year? It's not the most wise investment. Somebody will pay him money, and he'll get what he deserves anywhere. So hopefully Jauan Jennings can ball out and get what he feels like he deserves in the offseason. But a couple of other news today. The 49ers, they put MVS officially on the active roster. They put Russell Gage on the practice squad. Musical chairs. They're flipping around that depth chart, and I'm pretty sure they'll call up Russell Gage on the weekend. Because if you look at the wide receivers, you got Pearsall, Jennings, DeMarcus Robinson suspended, Jordan Watkins, he didn't participate. He's got a high ankle sprain, so we're still at Pearsall, Jennings. You got Sky Moore, you got MBS, and then you're going to have Russell Gage. That's your 5. Maybe you call up a 6th. Maybe you go get chosen. Maybe you call up Malik Turner, but I think you go 5, and those are your guys. So it's going to be a big game for Ricky Pearsall. I think Jauan Jennings, those two guys really have to step up and put in a lot of work for this. And then, of course, George Kittle is going to have a bevy of targets. I think George Kittle has to step it up this year like he did last year and go crazy. So going to be interesting. And then a couple of other news today is the 49ers named their captains. So pretty much what I had predicted. I'm happy for Diamond Lenore. He was a first-time captain on the squad. We'll talk about these captains. So you got a couple of them. You have pretty much everybody from last year except Diamond Lenore takes Deebo Samuel's spot. You got Trent Williams, Brock Purdy, Nick Bosa, Fred Warner, Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle, Christian McCaffrey, Diamond Lenore. That's a lot of captains, but the Niners have had a lot of captains over the last couple of years, right? So I think it's, the guys that are their core guys. They're big money guys, right? Trent Williams gets paid a lot. Brock Purdy gets paid a lot. Nick Bosa gets paid a lot. Fred Warner gets paid a lot. Kyle Juszczyk gets pretty paid well for a fullback. George Kittle gets paid a lot. Christian McCaffrey gets paid a lot. Diamond Lenore gets paid a lot. All those guys are your captains, are your big money guys, your big stars. These are superstars of the team. I mean, these are your bread and butter players, and they're all captains. So shout out to the Niners. Shout out to Diamond Lenore. I think that was cool to see him finally get named a captain. He's come a long way from being a 5th-round pick out of Oregon. The first rookie season, a lot of people wrote him off. Didn't even look like the best rookie cornerback on that team. He struggled. He went through a lot of ups and downs. And now he's a fantastic wide receiver or cornerback, and he has a lot of wide receivers shook during game day. He gets in their head, and he talked about it, that he talked a lot of trash this offseason and how, he's got to back it up. And he says, all I talked about was Seattle. It's time to go to work, and I feel like I'm ready. So I love that, Lenore owned it up. He says, I know I talked a lot of trash, and it's time to go prove myself, because he talked. I mean, there was so much receipts that I had. I was like, oh, man, Demo, you talking a lot. In Jigba, Kenneth Walker. I mean, he was throwing shit at DK Metcalf. I mean, he even said today, I'm going to miss DK Metcalf because he would always jaw with me, and I used to, give it right back. So Demo, well-deserved. I'm excited to see him and the Seahawks receivers in Jigba and everybody else. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a good battle. So McKivitz extension next is media. Deb Topi says, what do Kyle and Johnson and McKivitz that we don't? I mean, they love the guy. He's a good, He's a good locker room guy. I think they feel like he's, a good right tackle. And if he has a great season, which he's hoping to have, he's looking to be a Pro Bowler. He's looking to have a Pro Bowl season. If he has a Pro Bowl, he knows he's going to get paid. And that's his goal. And I hope he does, because that tackle market is insane. You got Jalen Moore last year. He came in and filled in for the Niners when Trent Williams was hurt, and he parlayed that into a $30 million contract starting role with the Chiefs. So I know most people will say that he's not the greatest right tackle. He's, average, maybe mid, but at the end of the day, he's the best option we have right now. And I'm going to hope that he tears it up and plays great and protects Brock Purdy, and he can, block for the run game. Not a lot of Niner fans like the guy. He took over for Mike McGlinchey, who was another polarizing player, especially at tackle. And he's maybe just about as good as Mike McGlinchey. So people are expecting greatness out of that position, because I feel like people are upset because the Niners don't put in a lot of effort, seemingly when you look at the roster construction at the O-line. And people are saying you can get an elite tackle. And Colton McKivitz is far from being an elite tackle. He's good. He's not great. Like I said, he's probably slightly above average. I would say he's above average. Most Niner fans are going to tell you he's mid. I think he's above average because he's better than anybody else we have other than Trent Williams on that line at tackle, which may not be saying much, but they love him. They love his work ethic. He has improved since he came into the league, 5th-round pick, but was he out of West Virginia? At the end of the day, yeah, he's definitely not an elite tackle, but if he has a fantastic season, maybe he'll get his money. I don't think the Niners are going to pay him top dollar, although they said they want to look into him and maybe give him a long-term extension. That might be the guy they go next. It's not going to be great for Niner fans because the Niner fans do not like Colton McKivitz. So, yeah, I don't know. Big Brick, what's up? How we doing? If they tried, they can do better than McKivitz with David. Yeah, I mean, I feel like there's a lot better options out there if you really tried to bolster that thing. Like I said, I'm not saying he's like the worst player out there, but you can do better. And I feel like that's why everybody, as a Niner fan, is like, man, no, not everybody, but a lot of people get frustrated because that you can definitely do better than McKivitz. But I hope he has a Pro Bowl season. I hope he reaches all his goals because that's good for the Niners. That's good for him and his pocket. And if he has a big time season and gets paid, maybe the Niners will say, hey, we really got to bolster this O-line. And they'll go heavy in the draft at O-line and get some studs or look into free agency. So that's the other thing is if Colton McKivitz does have a good season and they realize like, oh, we got to replace this guy with someone good, it's good for the Niners. So the better Colton McKivitz does, the better it is for the Niners. So let's see. But yeah, crazy day. Niners, they got Jauan Jennings back in the saddle. And I'm excited. He's going to play this Sunday. Kyle Shanahan says he'll be limited at practice. They want to ease him back in. Again, I don't 100% know if it really was an injury, although John Lynch said both things could be true, contract and a calf. That's why we called it the concaf. We called it a concaf. It was both, contractitis. But it's resolved. I'm sure he took some of that money he gained that he's going to gain and rubbed it on his calf, and it probably feels a lot better. But, $3 million in incentives. Now, they haven't explained what those incentives are. I'm sure there's going to be somebody breaking that down and saying, if he gets X amount of touchdowns, X amount of yards, X amount of games, he gets X amount of dollars. I haven't seen that tonight. I'm sure there's going to be a breakdown of that contract because they did it with Debo when he had incentives in his contract. Everybody that has incentives, there's, it's going to be written out. We'll see. It'll be interesting to see what he really has to do to earn that $3 million. But again, it's nice to know that they paid him after, putting in that work last year and earning a little bit more. But it is a little weird that he got paid after he had an extension, although it's just incentive. So the Niners didn't crack. They didn't, lay off their stance. They stood on 10 toes. They still stood on business and say, hey, not going to give you an extension. We're going to give you incentives. Although, according to Schefter, it looks like Jauan didn't want the multi-year deal. He went for this incentives to bet on himself. So I feel like they still never really got in the middle of what he wanted. Like, let's say he really did want 20, and the Niners probably were like, look, we can do this incentives. Or maybe they offered, I don't know, maybe they offered him like 12. And he's like, that's not close to what I want. So I feel like they never reached an agreement on like a long-term monetary value. But when the Niners said, hey, we can give you these incentives, you can make $10 million. We know you're going to ball out. And if he balls out, it's good for him, because if he has another big season like he did last year, teams will pay him. They'll open up the wallet. And pay him money. So good for JJ. Good for the Niners. I'm glad that the drama's over. I don't want any more drama. And the Niners have had so much drama. Although this definitely wasn't as bad as it was in the past, but it still was getting to the point where it was like, okay, this needs to stop. So Big Brick says JJ had a nasty mosquito bite on his calf, so it was a legit injury. All right. My man Jim Everett. Look at this Rams fan. He kept Moody and let Debo go. That's not really how it went, but yeah, your spin of it is one way. We'll see how Stafford holds up this year. Been dealing with a lot of back issues. I hope that for your sake, he doesn't land on his back and crack that back, because you got Jimmy Garoppolo and Stetson Bennett as your backup quarterback. So good luck to the Rams. We'll see. But yeah, anyways, happy for Jauan Jennings. Happy for the Niner fans. We get to put all the drama in the back, and now we get to focus on football. Thanks for joining me live. I know it was late. I dropped that ball today. I was out. Not breaking news came. I didn't get to go break the news, come live earlier. I was a little irritated, but hey, you got to have some fun. You got to enjoy your life. Better late than never. Glad I'm live. Glad I got to talk to you guys about it. You guys have a good night. Go Niners. Jauan Jennings. Glad he got his money, but could have got more. I mean, at the end, last thing is, it's kind of crazy. He did all that, whining and crying and holding out, and he gets $3 million raise. I mean, I'm sure he wanted more, but it's better than nothing. California, that's going to get taxed out like crazy. Now, again, my biggest concern with Jauan Jennings is how is he going to look on the field? He hasn't practiced all offseason or all training camp, really a few training camp sessions, and then he was gone. And this was the first week he's practiced, Monday and today. So a little worried. Will he be rusty? Will he be a little rusty? I'm sure he's going to be rusty. I mean, look what happened to Brandon Ayuk last year. He was very rusty. Trent Williams was rusty when he first started. That's what happens. These guys get paid. They don't play in training camp, and they look rusty. Nick Bosa was a little rusty. It happens. It's unfortunate, but it's the truth. If you're not keeping your conditioning up, you're going to look a little, ragged out there. Again, Jauan had the calf injury, so that limited him in what he could do. But still, not having the ability to go to training camp and practice can put some limitations on you. So hopefully he's okay and he can ball out. We're going to need him. But anyways, now you guys have a great night. And let's hope he balls out this year, because the better he does, the better Niners are going to do. Peace out. Go Niners.